Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're featuring the Sinn T50. Now this is a bizarre watch. It just looks like all the colour was wiped out from the dial. It's got this kind of really interesting, strange look. It's as if it's been filmed in like a monochrome kind of look to it. It's almost like you're watching a black and white picture. I'm so used to seeing some colour in that dial, and they've completely wiped it out with this one, and I think it looks tremendous for it. It really is something different. This came out, I'd say around about mid last year, so 2023, and this is the first time I've actually got my hands on this variant of it. I think it looks absolutely cool. It's something a little bit different, because normally you expect to see that little bit of colour or the harsh white against the black, but they kind of, it doesn't look like that. It's like someone's got a filter over the camera, but I think it looks cool for it. Anyway, before I get too far into the review, I've got to say a massive thank you to Ryan and the team over at Francis & Gay of Coventry for allowing me to review this watch. Tons of stock. I say every time I go in there, there's just more and more watches to play with. I love it. So anyway, back to this one. Let's talk about sizes. We are talking well, it's actually, the case size is 40mm, but the bezel size overhangs a tiny bit on each side, and you're talking 40.8 or just under 41. The thickness of the watch is only 12.2mm, and the lug to lug is, what was it, 47mm, and the silicone strap size on this is 20mm, but there are options available for that. But let's face it, the dial is just bizarre. If it weren't for the fact I had colour in the background here, you'd think I'm filming almost in black and white. It really is kind of strange. It's almost like it sucks in all the light and just, you know, it absorbs it, really. It really is quite strange, because I'm used to seeing a dial like that with colour. You can see the difference when I hold like a U50 there. It just looks completely different. So strange. I might do a comparison between the two, actually, so they are quite interesting models. So anyway, the T50, as I say, the dial, yeah, complete absence of color. You know, on the, when you're you can edit a video and all that, you can slide the color away and all that, and this looks like exactly what they've done here. We have the sword hands on this one. I personally think they look really good, similar to what you get on the U2. As I say, normally this second hand would be red and then the white there, but obviously they've completely muted the colour on that. But overall, the handset looks nice, well defined. I like the fact you get a really good solid kind of pointer to, and the way it goes over the minute track to really define what the time actually is. Makes it a lot easier when you want to really accurately set the time. We have a date window over here at the 3 o'clock position. You can see black background again to make everything tie in together. The hour and minute track is printed on this one. There is loom on this, bicolored loom, which you see on the pip, and I think it's the hour hand. But overall, the loom does look good, but it's not the best, the longest lasting, to be fair. But it does look pretty good. Obviously, written down here, we have the T50 automatic in Deutsch. And what's really impressive, because remember, this watch is only 12.2mm thick. We have 500 meters of water resistance to it. So a proper ½ kilometer of water resistance to it, which is pretty impressive for a watch only this, this thickness. Is quite cool. So anyway, as we come past that dial, we have a sapphire crystal. It is could be a single? No, it's possibly a double domed. You do get a certain amount of magnification, and then you get distortion when you come out to extreme angles. This does have AR coating on both sides, so be aware of that. And we come out to the bezel. Now the bezel it's got a couple of little it's got 3 quite interesting features, actually. One, it is case hardened. Now, I reviewed last week a Seiko Marine Master, and that had a case hardened body to it, and that was hardened to 500 Vickers. This is hardened to about 1200 Vickers, so it is really incredibly scratch resistant. I have put one of these against a brick wall once, and the brick wall came off worse. So, that's how good they actually are. The other tech, we have a screwed in bezel. So you can't just lift it and pop it off like you can on so many other watches. This has got an inner ring which locks to the body of a watch and stops it from accidentally being knocked off. And it's got the safety feature in that you can't just turn a dial. You have to press the dial down to turn it. Let's have a listen to it. Very solid. Has it got back play? Well, I wouldn't say it has actually. Once it engages, it's got to engage, and then it's locked. So that's it. It cannot move either way. So you press it down, no problem. It's a 60-minute one there. So basically you have one turn is 1 minute. So that goes around there. So to be fair, it's a nice little system. So can't fault that. Does it line up? Yes, it does. So that's all good. So the bezel, as we say, you can purchase a bezel around this side here, quite nice and easy to actually do. Now, it does have this bead blasted finish. We also have the first 15 minutes are all done in black, and then you have the white going further around there, keeping with this kind of monochrome design theme, should we say. Now, the whole watch is this bead blasted finish, and that helps to make it a little bit stronger because the bead blasting work hardens the metal, making it a little bit stronger. But if you do scratch it, it can be a pain. You can always get on bead blasted again, but it just to be aware of this. Now here, this, if you're unfamiliar with Sinn, is quite a cool bit of kit. If you're familiar with them, to be fair, it's cool as well. I say it on every Sinn video featuring this. This is a AR tech. Now this is a threefold process. If you put, I'm going to say it again, if you put an ice cube on that dial, leave it on there for a minute, take it away. Well, if you do that on another watch, let's say, you would get condensation form inside on the underside of the dial. Obviously, please don't do that. It's not great for the watch, but this watch won't do that because there's no actual oxygen within this watch. They put it into a vacuum, suck out all the oxygen, and then they put an inert gas in there. Now this inert gas basically is slightly thinner than your regular oxygen, so they have to replace the seals on there with better quality seals. So they do that, and then they fit this in the side here. I should point out actually the body of this watch is titanium, and so is this surround here. It's a titanium piece they screw into this. The advantage of titanium, this is grade 5. Obviously, it's incredibly light. The head of this watch only weighs 53 grams. Remember, we're talking a 500-meter diver. It is truly impressive, especially when you think, you have your normal Ingress spots, which are the crown, the crystal case back. You've also got this on the side here, but yet it manages 500 meters with no problem at all. What's nice, you also have drilled lugs. Makes strap changing so much easier. So you've got to think, it obviously, well, no, we'll talk about strap in a minute, to be fair. As you come over on this side, we have the crown over here at the 4 o'clock position. Basically, this acts as a crown guard on this side, but because it's also at the side of, lower down on the side of the watch, there is less chance of hitting the crown. The crown itself is signed, and it is a screw down crown. Is it going to pop? There, and we get a very audible pop as that comes out. Push that back in. It's actually quite easy to manipulate because of this grooving on the outside, and that's actually very cool. It lines up. Yeah, try that on many watches. That's actually really quite impressive to line up. Now, as we come around the back, it's got a solid case back on this. But underneath there, we are talking, it's got a Sellita SW300 movement. Now, I put this on the time grapher, and it was pulling, I think it was around about 4.5 seconds a day. So within chronometer specs, and well within the specs you expect to see on a Sinn watch, because they do use top grade movements. Now that means your average movement costs about £100 more than it would a standard grade you see in many other watches. Now it's a 25 dual movement, and I believe they have about 56 hours of power to their name, so it is quite a decent movement actually. It's based on the ETA 2892. Just solid movement. I'd say superior to the 2824 personally. So anyway, as we come past that, we have this band. Now, it is available on a leather strap. It is also available on a metal bracelet. Now, if you imagine the bracelet off this would fit on that. I'm pretty certain it would fit on that with no problem. The other thing to be aware of, this strap here, this silicone strap, there are other colours you can go for. Basically, you have the white. Now, I think the white one would look really cool on this watch. These are actually labelled up as being a U50 variant, as too is this one. So that means any of the silicone straps you can get on a U50, you could add to this. So let's see, I've got a black one here. That's actually off an original EZM1. These are very hard to get hold of. And that you could have black on there as well if you wanted. But I have a feeling this watch would look great on a black NATO kind of canvas style strap. I think this would look so good on that. Anyway, as we come round, we have the standard large clasp on this. Personally, I would rather see it on a butterfly, the newer style butterfly, I must say, to this, because I think otherwise these larger ones, like you can see, this is fully uncut, are actually longer than the actual watch themselves, the watch head itself. I don't think these match very well, but that's just my personal taste. Many people love them. I'm not so keen. I think on a 40mm or 41mm watch, I would go with the butterfly clasp. After all, that also has micro adjustment on there. Let me put this on my wrist so you got an idea how it looks. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing, my old school Panerai 177 titanium. Actually, yeah, another titanium on there. And Bob has got he's actually wearing the EZM3F. So that's going to be reviewed pretty soon. Now let's have a quick look. My wrist size is 7¼ inches. Now, look how much strap size you get on there. That is, I don't know anyone with that size wrist. That's absolutely huge. But you get an idea how it looks on my wrist. I personally think it looks, zoom out there, I think it looks absolutely superb. And this is a little bit different to many of the, like normally this kind of size watch, you're probably going to be wearing something like an EZM3 or a U50. Now this is different and stands out that bit more even than the U50 does, and I think it looks really cool. Anyway, I'll leave you to it, guys. If you'd like to see a comparison with U50, give us a shout. I'll probably do that, to be fair, while I've got hold of this. Any comments, leave them below and I'll always try and get back to you. Okay, all the best, and most importantly, stay safe out there.